All right, welcome back to the second half of Silent Legion's GM prep. Now, I need to figure out just where I am in the world. I think I might be at making locations. That sounds right. Sorry, I'm reading through the PDF at high speed. Again, this is a fantastic Cthulhu Lovecraft horror based on the Stars Without Numbers system that you can pick up pretty easily. All right, that's Kalipa. It's Evil Cults, which I've already spent a painstaking amount of time creating. Blah, blah, blah. Occult Grimoire. Building your world. Blah, 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 blah. I need a royalty-free image of the city of Philadelphia. And I don't have one. But I will put together a list of tags that I can use. So let's see here. The first 40 tags are mundane in nature. The last 20 tags are used when the occult is needed. Okay, so I'm gonna need to generate. I think it's 2 tags per location. Let me look here. I know in Stars Without Numbers it's 2 tags per location, but Silent Legions is similar but not the same. Each has 5. When you're rolling multiple tags for a site, okay. All right, so I'll tell you what. We're gonna generate like 10 regular tags. Then we're gonna do 5 important tags and 5 occult tags, and ones that seem like they might fit together. Maybe we'll put them in a similar location. We'll just have these on standby for if and when I get a map. I can put it down here. I mean, let's talk about places in Philadelphia that I feel are important. So let's call this the Philadelphia map information. There are several locations in Philadelphia that I feel are important, like the Ben Franklin walking tour. Location of the greatest Philadelphia cheese steak restaurants. Dim Sum Alley by the Philadelphia Convention Center. It's no surprise that those two are food-based, because I like to eat when I go to Philadelphia. The Franklin Institute, Liberty Bell, Moshulu. Now, this is interesting. I don't know if I spelled it right, but there is an old-style ship, like a wooden sail ship, docked in Philadelphia called the Moshulu that they've converted. Oh, shit, it's a restaurant, too. But it's also a history tour. Of course, you have the Philadelphia Naval Yards. All right, so those are places where we want things to happen. And then let's roll up some disastrous locations. So first we'll do a couple D4 plus D10s. All right. So the coordinates are 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 6, 4, 7, 1, 10, 3, 7, 4, 10, which I already... No, I don't have. Okay. And 3, 5. Like a weird spread, I think. So let's get these down. They are 2-3. Decaying industry. I mean, right away, I want to throw that right at the Philadelphia Naval Yards. 3-3. Gang influence. 4-6. Slave trade. 4-7. Suborned media. 1-10. Crumbling structures. I want to throw that at the Philadelphia Naval Yards as well. 3-7. Old grudges. 4-10. Vast graft. And 3-5. Impending doom. Alright, now we need some occult tags, which are going to be 1d2 plus 1d10, and we'll do like 3 of these. Cool, so we've got 6-5, 6-5, and, no, sorry, that would be 5-10. Alright. And these are places that are really occulty. Oops. 6-5 is massive rituals. So there are several massive rituals going on across the city. And 5-10 is eldritch radiation. So let's start figuring these out as I find them. Oh, they're in alphabetical order. Okay. I should probably put these in alphabetical order. There's a way to do that, right? I feel like there's some sort of sort by... Oops. Ah, yes, but I can do this. Aha! And then I take this, and then I reverse everything, and then I overwrite it all. Boom. Nailed it. So smart. I'm good with computers. Okay. Crumbling structures. The site is physically or institutionally falling apart. Let's open a comment. Physical damage or institutional collapse. Oh. I don't like the way that looks. That looks terrible. I'll tell you what. We need to do it like this. And then see if we can get this to come in through intact. Yep, that works a hell of a lot better. Okay, so these tags are call signs that you could use for things that you need. When you go to crumbling structures and you need an you could be like, oh, it's a corrupt urban renewal administrator or a looter that shows up. When we come to adventure generation later, it's gonna say something like, an enemy has taken a friend hostage at a place. And you'll be like, cool. A looter has taken a desperate structure inhabitant hostage in a rotting tenement, and boom, then you're done. I mean you're done with that part. So it's a pretty interesting way to do things. For stars without numbers, let me just show you this, because it's really friggin' cool. Do I have it here? The stars without numbers generator? I could have sworn I did. Let's go get it. Stars without numbers sector generator. So, for real stars without numbers, which... if we have time tonight, we'll do. You can press this button, get a whole map ready to go. It'll have all of the worlds and all the sectors, all the information that goes with it, randomly generated NPCs, corporations, politics, religion, and then you can like click on them in a website. So you can download this in HTML format, and then click on individual sectors, and it'll pop up the world information. Here are the tags for it. It'll tell you what the tags are. It's fantastic. Fantastic. But that's not what we're doing right now. We're doing some Silent Legions. Decaying industry. The site was almost entirely reliant on a single critical injury. Something happened to cripple that enterprise. I mean, that's definitely going to be the naval yards. The naval yards. So, Philadelphia has a giant naval yards where they take destroyers out of the water and dry dock them. And if there's one thing you need... Golden, thank you for the bits, my friend. Gang influence. If there's one thing you need, it's just a random destroyer hanging around. Oh, Eldritch Radiation. Let's, I guess that alphabetically is next. Uncanny miasma infects this site. A subtle poison that lurks in the wind and unnatural color gleams from the waters. Whatever the specifics, some sort of occult power is affecting the locals. Oh man, this would be amazing for the Franklin Institute. Okay, so the Franklin Institute, if you don't know, it's super famous for me, so it's hard to tell, like, judgmentally how much you, random viewer, and possible non-American, definite non-Philadelphian, might know about it. It is a massive Ben Franklin museum that every month rotates through a gigantic interactive exhibit. Like 3 floors are set aside for this thing, where you just walk and walk and walk through these super cool exhibits. And then several other floors are set aside in their floor plan for a static, unchanging, like bring your kids and learn about electricity or aircraft. They've done Rome, where you go in and you watch a film about Rome. And they're like, all right, there's a volcano coming. And then they start pumping smoke into the room. And then they start shaking the entire room. Like, there's 100 people in this room, and the whole thing starts shaking. Yes! 1080p, 60 FPS spreadsheets. I'm Eve onlining so hard right now. I want to make sure you see these spreadsheets in incredible detail. Speaking of, can you guys see these spreadsheets in incredible detail? I remember last time people had trouble seeing. Is there a way to change all text in the thing to like 18 point? Let's well, you know what? Let's just get a massive grab so I don't have to come back and do it later. To like boom. Bam, baby. Okay, gang influence. 1 or more gangs is effectively taking control of the site. This gang will be called the Tunnel Snakes. Tunnel Snakes rule, and we're the Tunnel Snakes, and we rule. Tunnel Snakes rule, and we're the Tunnel Snakes, and we rule. Impending doom. That's us. I'm glad someone knows what I'm doing, and I don't sound like a crazy person. Slowly collapsing civil engineering. Interesting. Cassandra S. Scientist. I don't even know what that means. Religious rally to beg divine mercy. Literally, there's just a guy out there singing the song from Hunchback of Notre Dame. Beata Maria, you know I am a righteous man. Of my virtue I am justly proud. Massive ritual. All right, this is the big one, and there's 2 of these, so you know it's going to be bad. This site is being primed for the location of a truly enormous ritual. building geometry, street layouts, concentrations of people in industry, and other features of the location are being brought into harmony as part of a tremendous work of occult power. Some rituals may require the entire physical geometry might be molded, while others might only need the right masses of people enlisted. The resulting effect will be subtle, but its successful execution is bound to result in some sort of terrible summoning, a lasting curse on the land, or warped apotheosis for the high priest who enacts the rite. Alright, so there are two different massive rituals. One is going to be Full Metal Alchemist. Ritual 1 is going to be draining the lives of all the people within an area to empower a philosopher stone-esque object. Building geometry and street layout are the only concern. The enemy here is a occult-wise tycoon who is buying buildings to knock down in order to complete the circle. What is... All right, I want the quote. I want the quote here. Alchemy is the science of manipulating and altering matter by using natural energy. The act is known as transmutation, and its sequence is described as the following: comprehension, deconstruction, and reconstruction of matter. The proper application of this craft requires not only full understanding of chemistry and ancient alchemical theory, but also a sort of natural talent towards recognizing and manipulating the physical objects with energy, which requires uncommon levels of intelligence and aptitude. Those remarkable individuals capable of studying and practicing alchemy are known as alchemists. I am absolutely going to have the Full Metal Alchemist equivalent exchange be a thing. Equivalent exchange. You know it. Let's get some music going. Alright. Number 2 is going to be about the people. And it's going to be... What sort of enemy can we get? A diabolic performer. Performer is attempting to draw certain groups of people to various locations in order to complete a pentagram. By having these concentrations over specific places and times, they will be able to draw a devil from hell to give them power. Ah, God, I love the idea of this being like a comedy performer who makes racial jokes, like some sort of Dave Chappelle, who, how do I want to do this? It's like, comedy. They keep going to different clubs in different neighborhoods and trying to target specific, races to come to their thing. Maybe it's not racial. Maybe it's, like, religious. I like that one better. Like, Islam. I'm not really sure how to follow through on this one. I'll work on that later. If you guys have a better idea, please let me know. I feel like that one's going to be bad. That might be a bad one, and I might want to back away from it. I got, like, part way through the thought of, like, an evil Dave Chappelle. And now I don't want to do it. Alright, old grudges. 2 or more groups at this site hate each other. I mean, I know what this is. This is clearly a union thing. Versus management. Slave trade. Now, I'm curious if this really is like... Let's see what it comes up with. I wonder if it means oh, no, human beings are bought and sold here as slaves. Yes, it literally means an actual slave trade. It's a little rough for Philadelphia, but who knows? I mean, maybe people are being kept in the basement of a pizza shop that doesn't have a basement. You know, now that I say that, that does sound Cthulhu as hell. There's a pizza shop. It doesn't have a basement, but there's a secret basement you can access where the people are being held. And they're being sold by a local politician. Suborned media. The local media is completely supine and a willing lapdog to the local elite. Whether governmental or private, the local authorities get whatever stories they want out of a newspaper or television station. Well, I know for sure that this is going to be a J. Jonah Jameson deal. J. Jonah Jameson. Get me pictures of Spider-Man! Ha ha ha. Gang boss who fact checks with pliers and electrical wire. Ha 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 ha. Oh man, I feel like that might overlap with the gang influence one. Those might go on the same square. Let's make sure to write that down. Overlap with suborned media. Okay. Vast graph. That's going to be one of the last ones. Theft and corruption are a way of life among the site's leaderships. Every ambitious local knows the fast track to wealth and power is to get in a position with the local authorities. These men and... I mean, this is clearly going to be the Philadelphia police. Who have a notable habit of pulling people over for civil forfeiture. That's where, if you're not an American, that's where if the cops pull you over and they think that something in your car was gained through drug trade, they can take it from you. So if you have $10,000 in a briefcase and they come to a conclusion that you are a drug dealer, they can take your briefcase of $10,000. I mean, that's it. They don't even have to arrest you. They don't have to prove that the money came from drug trade. They could just say, you're a possible drug dealer, even though we have no evidence, and we will take this money, and it now belongs to the police department. And the Philadelphia police are a little famous for doing that, so I feel like we're going to bring it back around. Alright, now we're talking adventures, although I'm technically going to need to jump back to that Philadelphia thing a bunch. Adventure templates. Sweet. Alright. There's a ton of information about templates in here. There's literally chapter after chapter after chapter, like 15 pages. But the simple thing is, you just fill them out. Let's see here. Blah, 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 blah. Aftermath and cleanup. Tells you how much XP to give out. Scenes and challenges. Here's the important part. Blah, 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 blah. Resolution scenes. Okay. What do we need to build these things? I feel like all that stuff I just skipped, I need to unskip. There's a whole bunch of, like precursor text that I don't need to read, but here we go. Adventure templates. Hook scenes, escape scenes. There's supposed to be a thing where it's like, here's what you need to... Here's the specific challenges you want to put together. One role actor creation. One roll, crime, creation, blah, 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 blah. Right, so we need specific scenes for the specific types of characters we have. Simplest way to assemble a template is to roll a resolution. All right, let's write this down. Here's the important part. Resolution scene, 3 investigation, introduction, and a hook scene. And then optionally, individual scenes for character types. All right, so we need to assemble a couple of these so they're hot baked and ready to go when we need them. Let's make 2 time pressure sensitive and 1 not sensitive. So the first 2 are the time sensitive resolutions, and the last one is the not. 1, 11, 10. I can probably remember that. A scheme has actually already come to fruition, and a friend is threatened by its consequences. The investigation reveals that it's too late to stop the horror, but gives the PCs the clues they need to realize the friend is in danger and they must escape before the enemy can capture them. Interesting. Okay, so that is the end of the adventure, is that something has already happened. Number 11. The enemy awaits at a particular time at which a ritual can be performed for a further scheme, and the investigation reveals the necessary actors, places, or physical components of that, right? Right, so, I mean, this is clearly going to be the Full Metal Alchemist. Occult bullshit. A scheme has already come to fruition, a friend, an investigation. Too late to stop the horror. I feel like that's going to be an occult one, too. What was the other occult thing? Eldritch Radiation. There we go. Okay. Oh, so this is the Franklin Institute. So this is mysterious happenings around the Franklin Institute. It's too late. They've already summoned the beast into existence. But now you can track down the perpetrators and stop their future plans. And number 10 is something that hasn't happened yet, and won't without significant help. The enemy is absorbed in some schism in its ranks that is impeding the execution of a scheme. A disloyal lieutenant may masquerade as a friend, or true friend may take advantage of the opportunity to seek and destroy the entire group. All right, there we go. That's bigger. That's good for everybody. All right, so we've got resolution scenes, and these are technically the last thing that happens. So what we need is a friend, a scheme, and an enemy. The friend at the Franklin Institute is an artist sensitive to the effects. Oh, I like that. A lobby guide who is sensitive to the radiation. What's the scheme? What's the scheme here? Na 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 na. Keep the radiation source exposed until locals are fully in its power. Sacrifice the source to increase its strength. Keep the radiation. Okay, so Franklin Institute, it doesn't make sense to keep the locals exposed because it's a tourist destination. But destroying an outside group that threatens the source. Oh, holy shit, because that would already be done. Wow, so there'd be a bunch of Oh, man, I got it. Okay, the scheme is dead occult investigators. They already uncovered all the information, and you'll find signs of their previous investigation along the way. but they were murdered by the enemy to protect the source. Peppers, have a good night. Dream of weird Cthulhu horror. Actually, don't do that. You really shouldn't do that. That's not good. All right, now we need an enemy. Who is the big boss? A cult priest of the radiation. A monster created a mad student of its impossible effects. Nailed it. A curator of a temporary exhibit. Okay, sorry, I gotta put enemy in there. Enemy. Curator of a temporary exhibit that keeps getting extended deadline. And they're just like, as long as I keep studying the effects of the Eldritch radiation on the visitors. Oh, yeah. He's like, look at this cool thing I found. Why don't we all study it together, Franklin Institute? But secretly, he's studying the studiers. He's gone mad with power. Investigation of things. So let's see here. Objects or places, people or events. So let's have we'll have one for the people because they're all already dead. So we'll do 2 places and 1 person's. 1, 5, 12. So investigation. Objects. The clue is an abandoned place where 1 or more challenges lie between the PCs and obtaining it. Cool. 5. A friend is actively trying to get a clue to the PCs or other related allies, but their attempts are being hindered by the actions of the enemy or some intrinsic challenge at the exchange. And 12, the clue is in a place where an unrelated event recently occurred. The PCs who go there will find themselves caught up in the event, and their interests will be mistaken by participants as a allegiance for rivals. Okay, so this last one is going to be a gang shooting. Gang shooting where the bodies of the original investigators are also found at the scene and assumed to be drug barons, given their weird occult paraphernalia. When the PCs come, the cops believe they are also drug barons and put a tail on them. So now the cops are after them. Yeah. Alright. I said occult all the time. Booty, 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 rocking everywhere. Alright. Now we need an introduction scene. The introduction and the hook. So let's roll for these. 12 and 1. The introduction. A friend points the heroes toward a site wholly controlled by the enemy without realizing it. Well, that's great. The site involves a secret related to the location, and if successful, infiltration will reveal that investigations must be made. What was the... Okay, 1 for the hook. Alright. A secret. Huh, the radiation is perceptible. Radiation is perceptible only to the supernaturally unaware. Is the secret that they find. How about we play at the drug baron thing? Like, they believe drugs expand their minds to the outer realm, but they must be done via specific drugs and rituals. Interesting. Interesting. Where did we have that back at? Yes. How do I do this? Comment. Oh, I can reply to my own comment. These occultists use combinations. Oh, it makes sense with the second thing. Combinations of drugs and rituals to make themselves supernaturally aware to track the radiation. Boom. So smart. Conflict scenes. I don't have one of those yet because I haven't needed one. But what did it say I needed? A scheme is in place. A friend is threatened by the consequences. Blah, 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 blah. They need to recognize a friend is in danger and must escape the enemy. The escape the heroes need to make. No, Tice, we don't have lame followers of Slanesh here. We've got our own super cool gods. A friend accidentally or under compulsion escape. Leads the PCs into a trap, only realizing the nature of the peril just in time to give the heroes a chance to escape. Investigator challenge scene allows the PCs to discover important clues. Infiltrating, finding an important object. All right, so these things. This is the interesting part. You custom build challenges based on your party makeup. So each class has its own kind of information or facts that you can obtain. Like Tufts, obtain information by beating people up or talking to dangerous people or getting through booby-trapped areas. Socialites, someone has something you want and you talk to them about it. Or find something people are afraid of and present it to them. And scholars look things up. Let's roll up a crime here. Because we do know that there is a shooting. So let's make sure that shooting has kind of a thing behind it. 1d6 plus 1d8 plus 1d12. Okay, 29279. 29279. Okay, perfect. Oh, I missed one. A d20. 16. Let's jump back here to talk about our gods. They are the gods of eminence. They are specific physical beings, including the god of squares, known as the seer of howling anguish, Kualo Guerreros. There's also Vona Oshevcha, the prophet of smoke and mists, Ox Koob, the putrid womb, the god of disease, and Kithchahora, the wailer knowing of sevenfold. There's also less physical beings, so these aren't like avatars striding across the world, that aim to torment their followers. Like Yad Yag Drgha, who has parasites that they put in people's throats. These parasites allow them to perform occult rituals, but at the same time, those occult rituals require their ability to talk, and the parasites talk for them. So you have to come to a conclusion with your parasite. Like, you and your parasite must come to a symbiotic balance, or you'll kill each other by literally never talking again. Also, the parasite will choke you to death. As tell the Devourer, the Lord of Vermin, who's known as the Filling Smoke, and Sinshmal, the God of Age, known as the thirsting incarnation of ravenous destruction. So as you see here, we don't need your dumb Slanesh. We've got our next level gods here. This was discovered by a relative or victim who knew it. Okay, so this is about the gang shooting. Police attitude is clueless. I don't understand what happened here. 16. The victim's finances are somehow related to the culprits. Dun dun dun. The gossip about it is confused, largely blaming the victim for events. The type of crime is a calculated assassination. The witnesses were late. No one speaks up until after the PCs are involved. And the crime investigation is spoiled. Someone came along and messed with the evidence. All right. So there's a shooting of several people. The actual victim is being blamed. So police assume it's a murder-suicide. In actuality, the victim is the victim. And the other bodies are dumped at the scene by the enemy. The victim was shot by an employee over money. How? Lack of promotion. Boom. However, witnesses aren't coming forward, and a donut-eating cop literally messed with evidence. Oh no, he's not a donut-eating cop. He's a corrupt street detective. Messed with evidence to close the case. So when they show up, he's like, "Don't worry, boys. I've already solved it. The victim was actually the murderer." And everybody's like, "Good job, Sarge." And then someone's like, "Wait a second. That doesn't... I mean, of course, Sarge." Perfect. All right. We've got scheme number 1. We gotta go all the way back up. You all, everybody. And make a new adventure template. Okay, so we need a resolution scene to start with. But we've got that. The enemy awaits at a particular time at which a ritual can be performed to further a scheme, and the investigations reveal the necessary actors, places, or physical components. Alright, so this is definitely the Full Metal Alchemist one. The enemy. So let's pick an enemy. Let's get down to business. It's a crazed, occult-wise tycoon. Enemy. Scheme. Now we need a scheme. What's he trying to do? Create a large-scale celebration that triggers magic. Perfect. We love the Führer Day. Except it's probably not called that. Scheme. Alright, we've got the resolution scene. Now we need investigations. And given that this is almost entirely based around the location of buildings, I'm going to make all 3 of these investigations of places and objects rather than about people. 10.8.1. The place has been ransacked by enemy agents who are now departing with a clue that leaves a perceptible trail to follow. Interesting. PC's much catch up with them in time to take it back. Okay, so the place is a baffling tangle of streets. They're escaping down the streets. Oh, this is going to be a chase scene. Chase scene. 10.8.1. Clue 2. The place where the clue is supposed to be is remote, and a challenge exists in order to reach it. Or an actor must be convinced to guide them to it. Interesting. Do we have actors here? No, I have to roll for actors. So what do we have? Oh, man, a defiled church. Sweet. And so, in order to enter, they must get the satanic priest to let them in. Otherwise, it's a crime. You can't defile this holy site. This is the church of someplace in Philadelphia, and it's a historical site. You can't come inside. We're renovating. Also, hail Satan. The clue is an abandoned place where one or more challenges lie between the PCs and obtaining it. Alright, cool. We're going to do a challenge scene here then. Abandoned place is a huge concealed ritual chamber. This will probably be the end. The final countdown. Alright, let's see here. The god of degradation, how all things fall apart from grace for no reason other than for being too long. His followers seek to rid all of ego and desires for legacy, seeing it as a pointless struggle. Alright, it's called Dark Buddhism. Shadow Buddhism. Actually, I like Shadow Buddhism. That's actually pretty good. We're the Shadow Buddhists. We have an introduction. Oh, no, we don't have an introduction scene. We need introduction and a hook. Okay. (10.3). A friend gives the PCs the result of their own research, which aims the PCs at one or more investigations. They're still looking into things. If they don't dissuade them, they'll discover a useful clue for the heroes, but perish hideously. Their friend is a relative of a new cult enthusiast. No, an engineer digging, concerned over the senseless digging. I like that. That's good, because it makes up for the fact that this is... actually, that could be myself, since I'm an engineer who lives near Philadelphia. Hey guys, it's me, Arthur Perkins, in the game. I've got this weird feeling about this building layout. This isn't up to code at all. Could you guys check this out? Also, I'm gonna keep researching occult stuff while you go do that thing. Hope I don't perish hideously. I messed that up. Alright, we'll get there. And the hook scene is a 3. This is the introduction. The heroes stumble across the remains of a crime connected to the secret, or suddenly find themselves in the middle of a crime in progress. I like the crime in progress thing. Crime in progress. Is that not here? Alright, we're gonna have to generate a crime then. Conflict scenes, escape scenes, respite. Investigatorial challenges. Blah, blah, blah. Socialite, tough. One role actor creation, which I think we need, right? No, they've stumbled across the crime. The crime is... Let's get this right this time. 1d4 plus d10 plus d20 plus d6 d8 d12. 3, 6, 17. 6, 3, 7. Let us assemble our crime. Because I've got crime by the numbers. It was only discovered by police accidentally or unintentionally. The police attitude toward it is conflicted. Some cops want to leave it unsolved. Wow, that's pretty interesting. I'm curious as to what we can make out of that. The clue about the crime is fingerprint or DNA evidence is copiously available. 6. The gossip of the news is whisperings of a clue the cops haven't noticed yet. The seeming type of crime is a burglary of the victim's home or office or something. The witnesses were untrustworthy. Someone saw something but is a liar. And the crime scene investigation is penetrated. They have concluded one very useful fact. Okay, how do we put all this together? So it's a home burglary of the main bad guy, who is the occult-wise tycoon. His butler saw what happened, but lies about it. The cops don't want to get involved here because this guy is connected. One brave, streetwise veteran picked up fingerprint evidence, matching it to a goonish thug. Didn't we have like a murder earlier somewhere? I feel like that's a thing. Oh, yep. A place is ransacked by enemy agents. That thug is known to hang out at the place where enemy agents are leaving from. That guy is among them. I think that about covers it. Bum, bum, bum. All right. Scheme number 3. The enemy is absorbed with some schism in its ranks that is impeding the execution of the scheme. A disloyal lieutenant may masquerade as a friend, or a true friend may take advantage of this opportunity to seek and destroy the entire group. So we need to find a location that we want this to be at. Line piece. I like the idea of the naval yards being the next place, and that the friend is like a high-ranking military person, like a commandant or something, but maybe not. What do we got here? Philadelphia police. We'll do this. I wanna showcase this particular thing because, all right, I'm gonna admit it. I'm about to social justice the shit out of my own stream. This thing where people, God, what's it called again? Civil forfeiture. Pisses me off so bad. It's like a terrible, terrible idea. All right. Cheated local business owner. All right. As a friend. Lost everything to civil forfeiture. When cops raided the place, said it was a drug den. All right. The enemy of this location is A glitteringly corrupt mayor. Bum, bum, bum. He's secretly behind the civil forfeiture. Which makes sense, except maybe not, but I'm going to do it anyway. The mayor of Philadelphia. Who the fuck is the mayor of Philadelphia? Mayor of Philadelphia. Jim Kenney. Congratulations, you're now the bad guy. Who is now the bad guy? Nope, we're using the real mayor. Oh yeah, I should probably look up, is he really a bad guy? I mean, in the show, he will be terrible and corrupt and definitely a bad guy. But the question is he a bad guy in real life? All right, where are we? We need an introduction scene and a hook. Let's start there. I've actually been doing that at the end because that's what they like you to do, but we'll do it at the front this time. All right, the introduction to this adventure is a friend wants help to unravel a crime against an actor. He wants to outlaw the Philly shake sandwich. I mean, that's not going to happen. Philly cheesesteak makes that city. Oh no, but he could be one of those like New York mayors who wants to outlaw 64-ounce sodas where you can only, I think they actually did that. They outlawed getting like big gulps. And so you could only get like 48-ounce sodas. A friend wants them to help unravel a crime against an actor related to them. Investigation of this crime will lead PCs toward the investigation scenes and the ultimate resolution of events. Okay, we need a friend, a crime, and an actor. A friend is a distressed government accountant who's found out about civil forfeiture and is like, what the shit, guys? Seriously, this is real bad. A crime. Let's go ahead and roll it up. It's crime time. Also, we got to roll up an actor. And we've got to play some music. I mean, there's so much going on. Tufts. One roll actor creation. D4, D10, D20. Oh, it's probably the same as the last one. Boop, boop. 2, 4, 20, 2, 5, 11. Man, this is long. This is going to be a long one. This is a huge mess, by the way. This looks like garbage. Fortunately, I hopefully will remember most of it. And if not, it should be pretty easy to piece together. Okay. Our actor is someone young and up and coming in the doctoral profession. A Doogie Howser, perhaps? With the memorable quirk is that they are extremely bland and interested only in their work. Kind of like, what was her name from Olivia Wilde in House, where she was like, just call me 4. Their social standing is an unproven or untrustworthy newcomer. They are related to this situation as a victim or friend of it, which I think makes sense because help unravel a crime against an actor related to them somehow. Perfect. That's nothing. There's literally nothing going in there. What is happening here? Why can't I... I see what's happening here. I actually don't see what's happening here. There we go. 5 and 11. The problem that drives them is they want revenge and someone involved might aid it. And the advantage of their situation is a network of relatives useful dealing with problems. So, let's put it all together. Up and coming young doctor, cousin of a doctoral family here in Philly, comes to town to help the fam out with their secret lives as occult investigators. Unfortunately, this young doctor is a victim of a crime, and we're about to figure out what that crime is by rolling a bunch of dice. Random dice roll, activate. 3, 8, 10, 2, 8, 7. And that crime is 3, 8, 10, 2, 8, 7. That's a terrible one. It was only discovered by police accidentally or unintentionally. The police are careful. The investigation is taking them close to an elite. Yeah, this chart is terrible, by the way, Patchwork. It's horrible. Don't try to follow it. It's the product of my mind. The clue about the crime is that the culprit was seen by others in the area. The gossip about it is confused, blaming the victim. The type of crime is an arson. Alright, so a young doctor burns to death. Burnt to death after... Ooh, burnt to death. This is... Which one is this? What are we doing? Oh, civil forfeiture. Oh, yeah. This burned to death for insurance purposes by a family member. They kill their cousin who didn't want to be involved in the occult life and decided, well, guess we can use you for funds. These investigators who did this are allies of the PCs, but have no morality. They see themselves as surgeons for the human race, dispassionately destroying the cancer. Yeah, so they're like, listen, we're all doctors here. We know how this works. Sometimes you have to cut an arm off to save the rest of the body. And that's why we had to kill our cousin. It's no big deal. They were going to go to the cops. They're going to start talking occult stuff. We don't need that up in this piece. And the PCs find out about it. And they're like, whoa, holy shit. This is crazy. And then they start finding out that this arson was at a property that had weird occult stuff. All right, so let's do the investigation scenes for the weird occult stuff. Did we do that yet? This is the one for civil forfeiture, right? Okay, so that might not tie together. No, that'll tie in. I'll figure it out. Give me a sec. Oh, man. The occultists... We keep coming back to drugs, but I feel like it's very important. The occultists are also drug dealers. This is important. I feel like drugs... Certain drugs... it's a designer drug. A certain designer drug mistaken for like super marijuana is in fact necessary to open your mind's eye to the occult. You need it to fight. All right, your question is, you still have no idea what's going on or what I'm doing. Is this 3 different scenarios to play? How are they organized in the setup? Excellent question. I will now explain it. So far, I have assembled the gods in the world that we have made in Philadelphia. the aliens that live around the world, various dimensions that you can go to, dream dimensions and other stuff, cults. There's the cults. And the places around Philadelphia where things happen. By taking these components, these 5 components, and putting them together, we can pull things like enemies and drop them into what's called adventure templates. So what I'm doing is I'm making 3 adventure templates so that in case there's some, like, the players are going to choose what they want to do, right? Players are crazy, and it's a sandbox adventure. So I can't just have one thing that they need. I need to have multiple, and 3 sounds good. And they'll set themselves off in a direction, and depending on that direction, I'll be like, cool, they're getting near this type of adventure, such as mysterious happenings around the Franklin Institute, weird, like, condo buying and then knocking down new condos, or getting involved with the police and civil forfeiture, maybe, towards the financial district of town. What I'm doing is assembling by the numbers a resolution scene, 3 investigatory scenes, an introduction, and a hook for these. Depending on the resolution, you can see here, I've done the setup. Now I'm making modules, basically. Based on the resolution scene, it'll tell you need a scheme, a friend, a enemy. So when I do that, I'm like, okay, cool. I go over here, I pick up a scheme, a friend, and an enemy. And that helps me set up what is the end point. We start with the end of the adventure, where are we headed to? And reversing that, we then begin to go through what is the investigatory progress to get to that point. And as we make those investigations, smaller and smaller scenes might show up where we're like, all right, well, we're going to zoom in on this thing or this thing. So this is going to be investigations of people fully. So let's see what we get here. 3d12 for people investigations, 12, 11, 10. A clue is in a place. So, just the further down we go. So, for instance, see, it'll say a clue is in an abandoned place. This is a investigation of a place. So when I go, I'm going to be like, great, I have a clue that I need to use towards this end goal, and I get a place from the place map. And so hopefully this is all starting to make more sense. Let me know if you have further questions. Clues in a place where an unrelated event recently occurred. The PCs who go there will find themselves caught up in the event, and their interests will be mistaken by participants. All right, so this is the... Shoot, where were we? Massive Graft. The place we were going to is a luxuriant government building. And they will get caught up in an event. I don't know what the event is yet. If you guys have a suggestion, what event is happening at a luxuriant government building where there is a clue towards the vast graft of the evil mayor? We've also got 11 and 2. 11 is an actor involved in a secret at the site, and the PC's curiosity is actually directed towards the secret. And 2 is an event was hushed by local police, but requires the facts getting involved of an actor or stealthy inspection of police records. All right, so to kind of reiterate, these aren't the only scenes that happen during this investigation. There are also individual scenes that are specific to the nature of the player's group. And that's like tough scenes, socialite challenges. I can't really show them on camera, but trust me, they're in there. When, if you've got like a group that's all of a certain class, so there's 3 classes, scholar, socialite, and tough. Each of them is going to solve a problem a different way. They literally have skills that allow them to solve a problem. And so you put challenges in front of them that they can specifically solve using their powers. and you just drag and drop things into place, assembling them in bricks. So now we've got our bricks. We literally have most of a bricks. Now we need to make super culting. So this is we're just gonna call this the assets. For those of you that have watched a Stars Without Numbers GM turn, we are about to create cults that will have assets and use them against each other. So, what cults do we have available? We have the United Nations. We have the Holy Hand of the Master. Let's see here. What was this one again? Oh yeah, this is like the weird Japanese one, right? Shinto charms. Yep. All right, so let's make sure there's each of these groups. And then we're probably also going to want to have Corrupt Business Tycoon. As the third cult here. And if we need more cults later, we can add them. But I think this is, like, 3 is a good number. They'll all be fighting each other for control of the city. All right. So this is gonna require a lot of reading. Each cult group will have its own set of stats that they use to fight each other and gain more power. The GM creates cults as needed. Yep. To generate events and challenges between game sessions. So the news that will be happening on the channel, on like the news network, events that are happening in the background, new things that are going on. These will all be happening as a result of these events. All right, so these are the United Nations. You're asking who they worship. All right, so United Nations group worships the specific type of aliens, right? So who are these aliens? These are the peaceful aliens. Yep, they're the Ethiopian group. So they worship peace aliens. The Holy Hand of the Master. They worship the visions that they get for enlightenment. So they are a anti-whaling charity group seeking enlightenment. And this guy is literally just a straight up shitlord getting money and political power. All right. And they're only dabbling into the cult as one of those things. So, cults have 3 attributes measured from 1 to 7: muscle, sorcery, and influence. Well, I feel like each of these groups has one of those things. We've got sorcery, we've got muscle, and we've got influence. Perfect. This is great. I wish I'd planned this. Minor cults tend to be low in these attributes, while world-spanning conspiracies have a rating of 6 to 7. Cults roll attribute checks. They roll a d8 and add the relative attribute. Cults also have power. Power is the currency of occult ambitions and represents a nebulous mix of cash, arcane secrets, and willing minions. Cults draw power from locations occupied by their strongholds and expend it to create new assets. So, for instance, this corrupt business tycoon, who is also the headliner for the Full Metal Alchemist bullshit, if that goes down and that happens, the corrupt business tycoon is going to get extra power. Like, outside of the mini game you play as the okay, I guess I need to explain this. What I'm doing now is playing a mini game as the GM. We are setting up a thing that happens between sessions where the GM is like, I'm going to roll some dice and figure out what happens between these 3 occult groups. Where do they spread to? Who do they attack against? Etc., etc. Outside of that, events in the game can give extra assets to people. So if you murder the shit out of all of the corrupt business tycoons thugs in a location, it doesn't matter if they haven't been attacked on like the world map, they'll still be gone, right? Like I'll remove that asset. And if they end up getting more power as a result of something, they're going to get it. So the minigame affects the world, but the world affects the minigame as well. So let's see here. Cults have assets, blah, blah, blah. Power of a cult is centered in assets known as strongholds. A cult can have no more than one stronghold in any given location. It'll be multiple safe houses and satellite layers, but these are all accounted as part of a single main stronghold. Stronghold is necessary for a cult to draw power from the location, although the existence of rival stronghold. Each cult has a goal. Holy Queen's Creed. Either they worship the Holy Queen, or that's the name of whoever leads the cult. So the Holy Queen's Creed is, I think they're a group of British soldiers. They were founded by British soldiers who went in to defend the Ethiopian space aliens who landed in Ethiopia. And they were part of the founding of the United Nations. The members of this cult cannot die unless they're beheaded, and so they've become a special forces unit for the United Nations as their peacekeeping. And so they're like ruthlessly effective because they can't be killed except by beheading. So if you shoot them, they don't die. And they survive ridiculous situations, which is why they're the top secret team. But they're also sorcerers. All right. To assign a location's maximum power, consider its wealth, sorcerer significance, and maximum population. Blah, 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 blah. Most cults have at least one asset, if not more. Assets might be enslaved. Eldritch abominations, blah, blah, blah. Occult, blah, blah, blah. Assets have hit points. Attack, defense. I know all of this thing. Where is the making a new cult? During each cult turn, each cult takes one action. Yes, 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 yes. PCs and cult actions list. I'm still not seeing the make a new cult thing. Asset qualities. Strongholds, cult create. There we go. SEAL Team 6-pointed summoning star. Exactly. I summon Beyond the Beyonder. Strongholds are not included on any tables because strongholds are special assets. While other assets are considered a type, strongholds don't have a type or are unaffected by attacks or special powers. Okay, so stronghold for the Holy Queen's Creed. Stronghold is going to be a government office where they are deployed near the Philadelphia International Airport, which I don't think has the PIA. I don't think that's their actual name. The Whaling Group has an office near the docks. And this guy is Financial District Tower. Boom. Maybe he's working with PNC, which is a very large bank in Philadelphia. All right, cults start with attributes of 3, 1, and 1, arranged to suit their priorities. They have a level 1 stronghold. All right, I'm going to say everybody but the influence group has a 1. So, let's see here. We've got muscle, sorcery, influence. So, these guys have a muscle of 1, a sorcery of 3, an influence of 1. These guys have a muscle of 3, 1, and 1. And because this guy is so filthy rich, he has a 5 influence, a 4. He is kind of a culty, but his goons aren't very good at doing their job. Whoops. 23 means they're amazing at doing their job. Perfect. This is a level 3 stronghold. And 2 level 1s. And these guys all have level 1 stronghold. I feel like they're probably gonna... I mean, the thing is, both of these groups, the Sorcery and the Muscle group, the Holy Queen's Creed and the Holy Hand of the Master, are both about stopping occult influence. So they're probably gonna be directly attacking the corrupt business tycoon stuff, or expanding their own interests. Their total asset levels do not exceed. Let's see here. All right. So asset level 3, 3, and 9. Ba, ba, da, ba. Yes. So it's not that he has more muscle and sorcery than them specifically. It's that this detachment that stays in America at the Philadelphia airport, he has more muscle and sorcery than them. And I feel like that's a reasonable assumption because this guy literally has most of the way through a scheme to do a Full Metal Alchemist thing. He's literally got a bunch of buildings that are in the shape of, I don't, like a giant circle that are all being filled with occult paraphernalia and such. And when the time is right and the moon is in the sky and the whatever, he's gonna be able to like summon something into this world to give him more power. And if the PCs ignore it, then that's what's gonna happen. All right, so muscle assets. Let's see here. This guy, level 1 is Corrupt Cop, Cult Thug, Fortified Layer, or a Hitman. Level 2 is Ambush, Gunman, Arsonist, False Front. Okay, so we know that there's definitely an Arsonist, because the Business Tycoon uses one. So let's throw an Arsonist over here. And their assets. Uh-oh. I'm gonna need to go get the Stars of Thou. Shit. Alright, this is gonna be really involved. Where did I have it? This might be it. Yep, this is it. Do I have the other things? Faction tracker. Yep. Wow, this is gonna be bad. I don't even remember how to do this kind of stuff. Alright. Make a copy. And it's gonna be called Silent Legion Faction Tracker. Wow. Need to wipe out all this stuff. Doop-a-doop-boop-boo-doo-boo. Oh boy. What, we'll move everything over here, but we're probably gonna need to change all the names. So it's muscle, sorcery, and influence. Oops. And the stats are HP, maximum HP, income. I think this is just called cost. This isn't Homeworld, but instead location. All right. Yes, we are basically having to invent an entirely new spreadsheet to get this done. All right. Corrupt Police Chief sounds good as well, but that's super expensive, and he's not really a muscles guy. But let's talk about how The United Nations definitely has. No, these guys have a corrupt. No. Let's see here. Yeah, let's do it. They put all their eggs in one basket and have corrupted the local police chief. Let's look at sorcery assets. Hypnotic Guru, Minor Curse, Cursed Warrior, Hidden Ways, Mind-Bending Adept, Sorcerous Atrocity. I like the sound of that one. Sorcerous Atrocity. The cult infects a social movement or influential organization with a monstrous occult curse that produces an atrocity sufficient to utterly discredit the target. Nope, that's terrible. That's not what the United Nations is about at all. Hidden Ways or Cursed Warrior. Hidden Ways, the cult has mastered secret paths to the Kalipa. Once per turn, they may spend 1 power to move 1 asset to this location to a different location, automatically granting it the hidden quality when it arrives. I like that. So they have mastered the Hidden Ways. What they can do is the United Nations can bring people into their hangar at the airbase and literally put them anywhere else in the city by being like, come in, we're going to take you to this secret occult thing. So they don't have any assets now, but as soon as they do, they're going to be able to spread them hidden around the city and then leap out and strike at people. And I think that's pretty cool for sorcerers. What kind of sorcerer stuff can we get for this guy? He's got 7 points left, and we probably want to split them between sorcery and influence. Maybe like a level 2. Hidden Shrine. That sounds perfect because that's going to be the thing that the players are going towards. This is the Full Metal Alchemist Shrine. Hidden Shrine. FMA Shrine. Hidden Shrine. A secret feign to the dark powers have been built, and worship of it builds their evil. 1 sorcery asset of the cult's choice has its upkeep eliminated. As with the Dark Feign, this asset can be anywhere. So we can get another. We need to buy another sorceress thing, and that sorceress thing no longer costs money every turn. And so I'm gonna choose something that has a really high upkeep, like a Cursed Warrior. Cursed Warrior. And then mark down that no upkeep because it's worshipped by the dark powers. A Cursed Warrior is a cult minion laced with black blessing and damnable gifts, transformed into a fearsome weapon of ruin. Alright, what's that guy from Resident Evil called? I know the Resident Evil series is so long now, but this guy... Oh, Nemesis, that's what he's called. This guy is their nemesis. Whenever the business tycoon gets mad, he's like, unleash the Nemesis Project. Alright, so that costs him, what, 3 and 2? That's 5 plus 2. He's got 2 points to spend in the financial district. That's actually not so great. Blackmail, lawyers, NGOs, zealots, or trained cadres. I feel like lawyers is probably going to be pretty good. Let's look up what lawyers does. The Innsmouth response. Lawyers, cold-hearted and ruthless, these lawyers can wreak havoc with the lives of the enemies of the cult. They are poorly suited for handling those that know no law and cannot attack or damage muscle assets. All right, so strangely, these lawyers cannot attack the police. Oh, holy shit. Oh, fuck. No, I'm sorry. That's funny for terrible reasons. All right. Okay. So let's get around to assembling these cultists and their assets. So we've got the Holy Queen's Creed. It has muscle of 1, sorcery 3, influence of 1. Its HP is equal to it's probably its stronghold. Let's see here. The nature of a cult, blah 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 blah. cults have power. Tribute checks, blah, blah, blah. Assets have hit points. Alright, so assets have hit points. So it's probably the stronghold that has on their turn. Each cult begins by collecting power from locations that have a stronghold. The amount of power depends on the stronghold and its location. The bigger the stronghold, the more power it can draw. The lower these offers the cap. To assign a location's maximum power, consider its overall wealth, sorceress significance, and population. Location that has nothing to recommend it would have a maximum power yield of 0. Power yield of 1. Towns and major fanes would have power 3. Cities and locations have power 4. Alright, so everything here is going to have power 4 because it's a city. Literally just a giant city. So it's all going to be bounded by the stronghold power. PCs and cults. Starting cult has a single level 1 stronghold. Right. Rating 3. Also start with an asset of 2, depending on the count of allies. Like any other cult, the assets start the game hidden. Once they are revealed, just fighting a cult during adventure, aiding a cult should apply its threats to the system framework. It just the shrine is the dark powers. It's all of them. This guy he doesn't care what he's worshiping. It's just any dark power. Stronghold. All right. How do you figure out the health of a stronghold? Oh, cost 2, HP 5. All right. So, HP 5, maximum power 5. Their income max is 1. And their costs are, we'll figure it out in a second. And their location is the Philadelphia airport. Hangar 51. Their goal is the... Oh, wait. There might actually be goals. Specific types of goals. I know it starts with that numbers when you have a faction goal. Cult advancement. Cults advance by destroying something. Expanding influence, purging treachery, serving their patron, tightening control. Let's see here. Commit atrocity. Isn't there one for like... making a certain number of assets? Cult must destroy assets, commit atrocities. That's a terrible idea for the United Nations. Purge treachery. Inflict 1d10 damage to any one asset for a number of turns. Nope, that's terrible. Cult must establish a new stronghold in a new location and maintain it for... They can't do that until they... Destroy an enemy stronghold. Destroy an enemy. Cult directs power toward the eldritch ends of its master. I think they're going to try to expand their influence. But it's not the same as this expand influence. Expand influence here does something completely different than it does in Stars Without Numbers. It must establish a new stronghold. How does it do that? Create asset. A stronghold created in a location that has a stronghold begins without the hidden quality, blah, blah, blah. These and cults. Where's the stronghold thing? I'm really curious how they accomplish this. They're going to have to buy an asset, move it to a new location. Must be purchased. Okay, so I just want to write down some notes here. These guys need to buy an asset, move it to a new location, then spend 2 to make a new stronghold there. All right. So they'll be like setting... Oh, and they can their whatever new asset they buy, they'll be able to send it anywhere they want to because they have that magic sorcery power, and they'll be hidden. So their new base will be hidden too. They can literally just set up a bunch of bases. Wow, this works out really well for them. Thanks, me. This is a great plot for them. So they're like spreading through the city, preparing for whatever final battle is coming to Philadelphia, and then they're going to shoot the shit out of things. All right. How much money do they start with? Oh, they start with 1? Really? Okay, well, that sucks to be them. And what is their costs? Does their hidden ways have a thing that costs? Because if their hidden ways like has an upkeep, they actually won't be able to earn money. Wow, it has an upkeep of 2. They cannot afford to run this thing. Is that true? That sounds bad. So they're going to have to, yes. I feel like that's bad. They literally cannot exist. We'll work on it, though. They'll probably, oh, maybe they're the ones who help the players investigate. And as the players do stuff for them, they get more stuff. I like that, because the success of this United Nations group will be directly controlled by the player's competence level. And if the players are bad at their job, then these guys will be destroyed. All right, next up is the Holy Hand of the Master. These are a secret Japanese cult of assassins. Their location is a dockside bar. And their goal is to tighten control for 3 rounds. That's fine. I don't care about your dumb thing. So they can't fight for the first couple of rounds. They can just make stuff. And they have a corrupt police chief on their side, which is all of their money as well. Wow, these upkeeps hit really hard. One. Finally, we get the Master of Disaster. Corrupt business tycoon. The name of this will change as soon as I figure out a name for this man and or woman who is a bad person. Oops. No, I'm not judging them for their business skills. I'm judging them because they're an insane person. Let's see here. A level 3 stronghold has an HP of 20. Wow, that's wrecking. 20, and it gives them 3. And then they have 551. Good evening, Makrabe Derek. This is a financial district tower. And their total income is 5, but they probably have to maintain all these assets. Let's see here. Just Mac will do. Sounds great to me. Arsonist. Upkeep of 1. Hidden Shrine and Cursed Warrior. 0 and 2. But the Cursed Warrior they don't have to pay for. The Hidden Shrine cancels that. And Lawyers have an upkeep of 1. So they have a upkeep of 2. Let's see here. They put the Lawyers in the financial tower, obviously. So there's a cost here of 1 for Lawyers, and there is a cost here of... How much was the shrine? Hidden Shrine is 0. And the arsonist was a 1. Okay. So 1 and 1, which means that they get 1 and 2. They get 3 every turn. And they need to commit an atrocity. What are we doing here? We are working on a Stars Without Numbers game called Silent Legions. And we are at the end of generation. What we're doing is we're creating the factions in this world now that we have all the pieces. We're taking the factions, we're statting them up, and we're showing how they will be attacking each other and just how much they cost. Okay. Nation's maximum power, but the cult gains 1 XP. Okay. Yep, they're going to commit an atrocity, and we're just going to call this the bad part of town. So, asset tracker. The owner is Holy Queen's Creed. Okay, well, that was bad. Corrupt business tycoon. He's got a lot. What's he got, like 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's got 4. Asset is called Corrupt Police Chief. And Corrupt Police Chief has the following stats. He is a muscle asset, right? Cost 4, upkeep 1. HP is 8. He is M versus I of 2d6 plus 2. He does not have a counterattack, but burn to automatically hit a target. So interestingly enough, he's a muscle that can attack influence, but no. Oh shoot! This is for the. Oh dang! Wow, wow! This is really good. I didn't even realize this. All right. The Holy Hand of the Master has an asset that is a muscle asset that can attack influence assets, like the lawyers that the corrupt business tycoon has. And the lawyers that the tycoon has specifically cannot attack muscle targets, which means this corrupt police chief can beat the shit out of those lawyers. This is a very powerful asset for them. It's going to work out real well. All right, next up, we have a Hidden Ways. Hidden Ways. They have a strength of 16. Whoops. And they cannot attack. Structure. Move to hide asset. This is located dockside. This is located at the airfield. Business tycoon. He's got the following assets. It's not called arsonist, right? It's called like expert arsonist. Yep, expert arsonist. Cursed Shrine. No, it's called not Cursed Shrine. It's Cursed Warrior, Hidden Shrine. All right. Hidden Shrine. Cursed Warrior. And the final asset's called Lawyers. That might actually show up here, unfortunately. Yeah, because in the actual Stars Without Numbers, there is a Lawyers unit. This guy really likes lawyers. All right. True expert arsonist is 4 HP. Wow, he's super weak. He is MVI 1d10. Oops. No bonuses and nothing special about him. Hidden Shrine. 12 HP. And is a no one asset. Has no upkeep. Perfect. Cursed Warrior, very powerful. Actually doesn't seem that powerful. It only has 8 HP. But it has an attack of attacking muscle assets for 2d8, and it defends with 1d10, and it can go berserk, which I think is really bad, right? I feel like berserk is horrible. Let's see here. Tag berserk. This unit must be carefully contained or directed. An asset with the berserk quality suffers the usual penalty. The first turn that upkeep is not paid. It loses half its HP, rounded up. On a second turn, it loses no hit points. Instead, it runs wild, becoming an uncontrolled asset that attacks the weakest asset in each location every time the former's armor turn. Wow, okay, so if the Cursed Warrior isn't paid, he goes crazy and starts killing everyone until somebody pays him. All right, lawyers have a lot of HP. They are influence v influence. Oops. They deal 2d6 and they defend with 1d6, but they cannot harm muscle assets. Cool. All right, guys. We're here. We're at the end. This is it. We have fully created Silent Legions for everything but a map of Philadelphia. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully you've followed along and are ready for some occult adventures where the United Nations unkillable zombie soldier. All right, I'll get there. Sorry, give me a second. An occult adventure where unkillable zombie soldiers belonging to the United Nations direct our investigators into a weird world protecting Philadelphia from the strange happenings of a corrupt business tycoon. All right, well, again, thank you for coming out tonight, and I will see you tomorrow for Winner's Edge 2.